A woman far ahead of her time, armed with nothing more than a pen, paper, and her imagination. The world around her barely noticed, but the world we inhabit today cannot imagine literature without her.
Each of her stories has all of these rich heroines.
Jane Austen can teach us so many things about human relationships.
She lived without a celebrated romance of her own, yet gave generations of readers some of the most enduring love stories ever told. The question remains, what was her secret? What did Jane Austen truly know of love?
Mr. Darcy, Mr. Darcy, Mr. Darcy.
Romance may look different today, but thanks to Jane Austen, it has never truly gone out of style. Where shall we begin? Maybe here in Bath, which was known at the time as a good hunting ground for husbands. Let's start with the men in Jane's life, or should I say the lack of them. But there are 3 men who are worthy of an honorable mention.
One was a young clergyman she met by the Devon shore, a fleeting acquaintance cut short by his sudden death. Another was Harris Big Wither, the man to whom Jane was engaged for a mere 24 hours.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents, and I'm frightened.
At almost 27, Jane accepted Big Wither's proposal, then ended it the next morning. And of course there was Tom Lefroy, the charming young Irishman, often rumored to be the love of her life. After her death, her beloved sister burnt most of Jane's letters to protect her reputation, so these men's importance isn't clear.
What remains certain is that Jane never married. But there's one man whose importance is undeniable. In a world where the yearning man is constantly trending, we should not forget about the father of all yearning. I felt an itch in my fingers. Mr. Darcy isn't just Mr. Right. He's something even more intriguing. A man written by a woman. Austen crafted men who were more than just their estates. Socially secure, yes, but also emotionally sincere. They embodied what women longed for then and now: maturity, kindness, and the capacity of real love. The enduring fantasy isn't wealth, but being truly seen and valued.
We meet with Dr. Shelley Galpin, a lecturer at King's College London in culture, media, and the creative industries. With a keen eye on period dramas, she has explored the reason Austen's portrayals of romance continue to feel relevant today.
When we think about the past, we maybe have this sense that they didn't think about love the same way that we do. But I think really when you read Jane Austen, you cannot believe that. You realise that it's not. You know, she writes about love, I would say, exactly as we experience it today, you know, falling in love, the excitement, the worry, the confusion. It's incredibly universal, I think. So I think she knew a lot about love. I don't know where she got that knowledge from, but I think she communicates it exceptionally well.
There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others.
With the words of Elizabeth Bennet, Darcy's true love, we turn from the men in Austen's world to the women who truly carry her stories. Jane's stories live off the wit, virtue, and charm of their heroines.
The appreciation and acknowledgement of women and their struggles shine throughout all of Austen's novels.
All of her heroines go on a journey. You know, someone like Emma is, you know, the whole thing with Emma is like she's perfect, you know, like, but, and that's kind of her sort of selling point. But her journey is about learning that actually she's not perfect, you know, that she was naive, she was young, she had things to learn about the world and sort of coming and being a better person by the end of it.
All of them are strong women who bend but do not bow to society's rules. They mirror the struggles of their time to marry for status and security, while also expressing a timeless desire to marry for love. In that way, they're not unlike Jane herself, which leads us to the question, where did she get her inspiration from?
Let's travel back in time to learn a bit more about the author. It's the year 1775. Autumn leaves fall, the winter solstice approaches, and in a quiet Hampshire town, a child is born. No one could have guessed that this girl would one day reshape the course of literature. Jane grew up in a bookish family. Her father owned more than 500 books, a remarkable library for the time. Education was highly valued in the household. She was especially close to her only sister, Cassandra. Jane began experimenting with writing novels around the age of 12. Back to the present.
We've traveled to Bath. Jane didn't live here long, but the time she spent in Bath did have a big impact on her life and her writing. This is where Jane lived. Her father moved the family to Bath, though Jane preferred the countryside. As an unmarried daughter, she had little choice. When we came here, somebody came out to give us this. This is the original key from back in the day. Let's see if it still fits, shall we? Well, unfortunately it doesn't, but it used to 225 years ago. This is the same key that Mr. Austen touched. But the family didn't stay for long. After her father died, Jane, her mother and her sister had to rely on her brothers for support. Bath changed Jane's life. Here is where her father died, and during her time here she had 2 of her 3 romantic encounters and faced money struggles. Experiencing the limits placed on women left a mark on her writing.
The city Jane once wanted to leave is now full of her admirers. Strangely enough, the setting looks much the same as it did 250 years ago. Every year, people put on Regency costumes, hoping to recapture the spirit of Austen's world.
Jane Austen teaches us that we're all deserving of love. I think each of her stories has different women with extroverted personalities, women who are a bit shy or have anxiety. And so each of her stories has all of these rich heroines who people connect with time and time again.
I identify with some of the male characters. Like today, I'm Colonel Brandon today, but I also identify with Mr. Darcy.
It's not always what you expect it to be, and you don't know how your relationship is going to form. But yeah, you can find love anywhere.
Her books are set in the Regency era, but they are timeless and they show principles that stand against time.
Jane taught us more than lessons in love. She showed us how wit, grit, and chasing your passion is relevant to any era. 2 centuries on, Jane's novels remind us that love, romantic and platonic, ambition, and the struggle for independence are timeless.
It really taught me that women who are feisty and can argue and, again, take up more space are also deserving of love and honestly often end up with the best marriages.
Jane Austen says a lot about different types of love, whether that be romantic, but also the love of family and sisterhood and kinship and friendship.
Jane Austen can teach us so many things about human relationships, how society treats people differently, expectations of society, and I think there's ways of overcoming that and still having a happy ending.
Every generation rediscovers Jane Austen, often thanks to a new Pride and Prejudice adaptation in the pipeline. But Austen offers way more than just matchmaking and courtship.
The fact that she has this sort of roving narrator who can just sort of dip into people's psyches at will. And so we're kind of getting this vast array of different characters and their experiences and the way that they're seeing the world. And I think that that's really powerful.
The question isn't whether marriage would have changed Jane's writing, but rather whether the longing for a happy one made it even greater and sparked the same longing in her readers. Jane's wit shaped her characters, her longing for love shaped her novels, and her voice gave women space, both on the page and beyond, and this echoes until today. In the end, Jane's deepest loves were not men, but the women around her and the words she left behind.